Hello and welcome everyone. This year I did do a Halloween window for 2025. I didn't do one last year. I didn't actually even start one last year. I was going to, but I didn't get to it last year, unfortunately. But I feel like I overcompensated this year by not having one last year because I pushed my limits on this one and I'm mostly happy with it. If you don't already know, I am a lettering artist, not really much of an illustrationist, especially when I have to draw humans or human-like forms like this. But I impressed myself with what I did. Some of it's a little cringy, but we'll work with that. But overall, I'm so glad I was able to pull this off in the end. It did take a while. Just so you know, I am going to be adding some commentary to the video through voiceover like this, but most of it's going to be you watching me work. I actually split up that kind of stuff, which I normally put on these videos, like the thought process and stuff like that. I have that on a different channel now. I just started a new channel. It's called Shrush Design Business Vlogs. On that channel in general, I'm just going to be going through kind of my day-to-day stuff that I do. And I upload a video right now. I'm doing 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So my first three videos on that channel, and I will be linking that below in the description, in the pinned comment, and everywhere you expect to find it. So you should be able to find them. But the first three videos, mainly video 2 and 3, are my behind the scenes of making this window. So you'll be able to see those if you want to, for a little bit of a deeper dive into the process. And there's going to be a lot of other things that I'm working on that channel on a day-to-day basis. So if you're interested in any of that, you should subscribe to that channel. And now I will also link my previous windows that I've done, my Halloween windows. I do holiday and other seasons and stuff windows too, but I'll link all the Halloween ones for sure in the description and in the pinned comment and everywhere else as well. But anyway, let's get started talking about this year's 2025 Halloween window mural. So, as is my nature with my home windows especially, I didn't really have much of a plan when I got started. I kind of evolved it along the way, and you'll see that if you go to my business vlogs that I talked about, my thought process behind it. But I was originally going to do, because I had said last year that I wanted to do a graveyard with gravestones. So originally I was going to do that, and that would have been a lot more simple. But I decided to evolve it into what I did instead. And like I said, I'm kind of pushing my limits here because I'm not really a human or a human-like creature artist. I'm more of a lettering artist and maybe some landscapes and objects and things like that. I push my limits, which again is another thing I like to do, and then I feel like quitting in the middle of it, and then I finish it, and I'm like, oh, I actually did that, and I get proud of myself. It's the same thing, different day. So I did end up doing this. This is me painting in the thought and speech bubbles, which was another thing that I added to it along the way when I was thinking about the design, which again, you'll see more if you go into my deeper dive videos on my other channel. So I decided I was going to have all the characters I was making say or think something. So this is me making those speech and thought bubbles on the window first. That was the first thing I did. And I did that on the inside of the window. It's almost the only thing I did this year on the inside. I did do a little bit of the skeleton on the inside too, because it looked a little weird. Like I needed kind of the background in there with the skeleton. So I ended up doing that in the inside as well. But everything else was pretty much painted on the outside this year. And also, I will say here, I tried to not speed up my painting videos too much. I sped them up to like 4 or 8 times. Because normally when I make these videos, I have to have all the thought process and everything in there as well, and they're very, very long, so I end up like speeding up the painting too much. So I'm giving a little bit more of a real-time type view of what I was doing, except it is a little bit sped up, but not as much as normal. So that's something I wanted to say. also decided midway through that I was going to have them all hold a banner that was going to say something like "Have a happy Halloween." I ended up with "Have a spectacular Halloween" in the end, but this was another thing that I decided midway that I was going to add in. It was all kind of on the fly. And the banner, I did paint with interior wall paint, latex paint. I would recommend, even though I haven't really done it on my home windows, painting with wall paint when you can, because it is already kind of formulated to be more smooth as you're putting it on. You don't have to add anything to it. Now, because I was doing this on my home though, and I was using whatever materials I had this paint left over from a wall we had painted in our house. I was using my acrylic paint for pretty much everything else, and I had to mix in, water or whatever else to get it to be kind of a better consistency, which didn't always work great, but I was doing this on my own home windows and I'm not getting paid for it. I don't even have monetization on this channel yet, which, by the way, if you'd like to help me out with that, subscribe, watch my videos, please. But so I'm not getting paid on this video. I might at some point, but right now I'm not. So I'm doing this for free on my own time and on my own money. So I'm using kind of whatever materials I can that I have that I don't have to pay for. So if I was doing this for a business, which I plan on doing at some point, I'll be getting paid for that. So I'll be able to buy proper paint and everything. And I highly recommend, if you are doing this for a business, that you do buy and use better paint, like house paint. And if you're working on the outside, most likely you'll want to do exterior paint as well. But I have a big overhang over my window, so I can use pretty much anything because it doesn't really get rained on or anything like that. So there is no like damage to my paint from the rain or anything like that. Only if something were to come up and scrape it, basically. And then I'm starting to write in the phrases, the speech or thoughts that the characters are having. And this was kind of, again, a little bit more my forte, my lettering. However, so this was made for kids because it was part of my trick or treat display. And I didn't want to do anything super fancy with the lettering. I kind of want to, but I can't really because they're not going to be able to read it. So I wanted to get a little more fancy, but I couldn't. But I did do, a little bit. And I was also having a little bit of trouble with this because it had actually been a while since I did any window painting, or especially like the lettering portion on the window. So I was kind of running into trouble, like keeping my arms straight and stuff. So I did eventually bring out my maul stick. You'll see that, which I can rest my arm on while I'm painting, and it helps a lot. But yeah, I have to start exercising more because I haven't been, because I haven't used those muscles, so it's kind of hard. Alright, so now I'm starting on the characters. So I decided I was going to do in the center, do it like a pumpkin head, like a pumpkin king kind of person. I don't know. But I kind of wanted to start with something easy. Also, I was trying to do batches here where I was doing the bottom layers of all the characters. So I was going to do the orange pumpkin first, and then you'll see me do the ghost and the mummy and the skeleton and the vampire. They all have kind of white to them. So I was trying to be smart ahead of time and kind of batch the paint colors together, and then I have to let those base layers dry before I do anything to them anyway. So it was kind of nice too because I could jump from character to character as the other one was drying, and you're going to see a lot of that throughout the video. And I also worked on this over several days. Not, I mean, I did a few hours every day basically, and they had a lot of time to dry in between most of the time, so it was really easy to add paint on. Unless I wanted to do blending, then I had to kind of do it right away, which I did do on a few of these characters as well. But you'll see that as we go. All right, onto the skeleton. So I did use a reference for painting the skeleton. Like I printed out a picture of a skeleton so that I could use it as a reference because I did take a lot of anatomy classes back in my school days, but didn't really remember from like by heart all the bones and everything, how to draw them. Again, I'm not really that kind of an artist. I'm a lettering artist, so I did use a reference for this and it was helpful, but I didn't copy anything exactly. It was just to kind of get my brain to remember exactly where things go. And actually, I'm pretty impressed with my skeleton, except for the head. You'll see. You'll see the head. It turned out kind of weird, but the rest of it was pretty good. And like I said earlier, I did do a little bit of the skeleton on the inside because I needed like the shoulder blade in the back, like the scapula, and some of the vertebrae and the ribs also in the back. And I also got to do a lot of paint color mixing on this project, which I got a little more practice with and I liked. And I was impressed with my results basically. So that was nice. All right, so you're going to see in a minute here. If you don't remember, I do have an assistant, Chaz. He's my black cat that helps me. He's going to make an appearance right here soon, just so you know.
Hi, Chazzy boy. Hi, Chazzy boy. He's at the window. Hold on a minute. Wanna come out here? Wanna come out? Come on out, hurry up. Come on. You wanna see? You nosy? What do you think? Get the clown nose, the mummy, the car, the ghost. Yeah. And then do the skeleton after you do the clown. Get the eyes done and the rest of them. Then do the stuff, right? Right? This might be your last one, huh? I said that about 2023 though. You're still here. That's stinky breath. Don't knock over the camera. Like that one deer. You gonna be a good boy if I leave you there? Probably not.
Yep, so that was assistant Chaz. He is 19. That's why I said it might be his last one. And I said that about 2023. But for the most part, he seems to be fine and he could live a couple more years. But sometimes I wonder if this is his last one. So I try to keep him involved because he likes to. But he was more actively involved back in like 2021 and 2022. If you want to see those videos and see him helping me, and helping is in air quotes if you can't see that. But I do say he is my employee of the month every month. And I probably will say that even when he's gone. So, but yeah, this is the part I messed up on the skeleton, the jawline. I'm not really sure what happened there exactly. And also, you'll see later when I make the teeth are also too small, so that's part of the problem too. He just turned out kind of weird, or she. Now, originally, I wanted to do something more complicated with the clothing for the werewolf and the pumpkin and possibly the zombie as well. I wanted to do either on one or two of them, the werewolf and the pumpkin. I wanted to maybe do it like a flannel, but I decided no, that was way too complicated and I was already taking too much time doing this, so I wasn't even going to attempt it. But they ended up with also, because of this, um, kind of longer shirts, so they kind of look like they might be wearing a dress, but I guess that's fine. And with the werewolf and the zombie, I actually wanted to do like where their clothes were kind of ripped in places where their fur or their skin was coming out. And I ended up not doing that either. So I wanted to do it even more complicated than I already did. I, you know, scaled back on that a little bit. I was a little bit more reasonable. Again, if I would have planned it out ahead of time, maybe I could have done that. But I was doing this all on the fly, so some things just weren't working out. So I had to kind of let go of the ideas. Okay, so this is me doing the lettering on the banner, and this part is sped up more than the rest of the video. This is actually 20 times speed. That's because it's very slow if I don't, and this video was already pretty long, so I figured I should probably speed this part up a little bit more, but you get the same kind of idea with how I made the letters and everything. And this also for the spooktacular part, I did use a reference for this as well. I was looking for kind of a spooky font because I was originally going to do something like more gothic, like I did with in the 2023 window mural where I did Black Cat Manor and I did like a gothic or black letter type font. I was originally going to do something like that, and that's what this is based off of too. But uh, I decided to look around and see what there was, so I did use like a reference font, but I didn't copy it exactly. Again, I just kind of use it as a guideline to kind of make my own version of it, and I like the way it turned out. Also, you're going to see here in a minute that Halloween was very cramped on the end there. I didn't want to put anything on the side windows. I wanted it all in the center. And you kind of didn't see this part really, but I had written in chalk ahead of time. You can kind of see that now. But I had done it like 3 times already, like trying to figure out the spacing. And again, that's not something I planned ahead of time and I should have. So this is what I ended up with. It's fine, but Halloween is a little cramped. It does look a little funny and I am kind of nitpicky about that, but it still looks okay. So I'm gonna give myself a pass there. Now, I don't know if you noticed this is a while ago in the video, but back when I was outlining the hair on the clown, my husband uh, came outside because he was in working that day inside the house, and he came out and he told me he was going to go get dinner, which was nice of him because I was busy. And he had gone to go get dinner, so the rest of the time I was trying to finish the rest of this while he was like before he got home, and I actually did. I did. I achieved my goal there. So I was really pushing myself to finish at the end here, and I did it. All right, I am effectively done. I may add a few more details to this That might be on a different video later, but for now I am done with this. So here's how everything turned out. Werewolf, the witch, skeleton, clown, pumpkinhead, mummy, vampire, zombie girl, and ghost girl. So that is it. I'll give you a few good looks here. This side. Alright, that's it for this video about my 2025 window mural for the Halloween season. I will leave you with some parting videos and pictures of the final result, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.